So why zebras don't get ulcers? That's a book and you don't want to buy that. That's okay. I have a summary for you. So let's start with stress. Not stress. Let's start with our brain. Our brain is a very complex system, right? It's so very complex and it's more complex than animals. So it is responsible for all the cognitive processes, all the cognitive functions, inside our body, and it is also responsible for stress. If our brain is messed up, then everything is messed up, right? So it controls our cortisol levels, right? And it also controls our insulin production and all those things, and it is also responsible for diabetes. Yes. Do you think diabetes is caused by sugar? No. Diabetes is caused by stress. It is triggered by stress. But sugar may increase the levels, but it is ultimately caused by stress. So our brain is a complex thing, right? So unlike other animals like zebras, monkeys, it is more complex, right? So what happens is brain is complex, so our process is also complex. So most of our fear or most of our stress is psychological also, right? So what is stress? First of all, stress is so we can say that stress is our body's or our mind's response against an uncomfortable situation, right? So stressing over what we cannot fix, like stuck in a traffic or completing a work before deadline, right? So that leads to the uncontrollable situations, and our body responds to that because we are human beings, we are animals, like we have animal instincts. So our body responds to that. But if the stress is too much, because our stress is psychological, animals don't have psychological fear, they are free, right? So they don't have ulcers basically, so they are free. So when the negative state of mind takes over, it is very hard, it becomes very hard to control stress. But this book is here to help us. So I'll summarize this book in 3 points. First of all, so first way to control stress is a natural situation, but you should know how to control it, right? So suppose we are in any uncomfortable situation, like stuck in a traffic, we are completing our work, we have a lot of work, we want to complete it before deadline. So these situations, we know that stressing is not going to help, right? And we are thinking about the future, that what may happen. Animals don't have that. Animals do not think about future, but what might happen. They are at the present moment all the time, right? Since our biggest source of stress is psychological, so we have to have better defense mechanism than the animals, correct? And you have to learn your emotions. You have to know that the stressing over is not gonna help. You have to remember that, and you have to get over it. So just like animals, we perceive stress as a response to any crisis or harmful situation. But there is a twist. Since our stress is psychological, so our brain can self-induce a stressful situation. So the situation may be imaginary or may be real. It may or may not be real. So this is the trick, this is the game that our brain plays with us. So we have to be aware that this is not real, this is imaginary, this is not going to happen, or this is not going to affect my work in any way in present moment. Maybe you are assuming a situation which might occur in future. So that will cause stress, which in response will be bad for you, very bad for your health. So number 2 point of this summary that I wanna bring forward is we have a central nervous system, right? And it is very, very powerful. So there are 2 types of nervous system. First one is sympathetic nervous system. So sympathetic nervous system is responsible for triggering stress. It will trigger stress if any harmful situation. It may or may not be real. If any harmful situation is induced in our brain, it will trigger a stress response, and it will send the signals through blood vessels to every gland of our body, every organ of our body, every cell of our body. right? So it will produce cortisol levels. It will, increase the cortisol levels, which is very bad for or physical health, or even for mental health also. So this sympathetic nervous system usually gets triggered while we are in a dangerous situation, or in a fight or flight situation, right? I think that's what it's called, fight or flight. And the other part of the nervous system is parasympathetic nervous system, which does just opposite to the sympathetic nervous system, right? It calms us down. It tells us that, hey man, calm down, you are stressing over too much, it tells us that. So it's a good thing, right? But these two activities happen very quickly, and if these occur very frequently in our body, it's very bad for our health. It's very bad. So it releases signals through blood vessels, as I told you, to every cell of our body, and it produces certain hormones also. If their levels are very high, then we are messed up, man. That's why zebras don't have ulcers. So third point of my summary that I want to bring forward is how to reduce the stress. So reducing stress, as author tells us that giving back to our community is the best way to reduce stress. If you are doing any work, so don't do it just for your sake. Don't be a narcissist. Don't be a self-centered guy, right? So give it back to your community. Help others. The more self-centered or more selfish you are, the higher are your stress levels. And the more selfless you are, the lower are your stress levels. And second one, don't think about future. Be in the present moment all the time. Don't think about the futures. You have to differentiate between the imaginary situation and the real situation. As I told you that when brain produces or triggers stress, it is in response to that situation, which is which may or may not be real. So you have to be aware. You have to identify that this situation is not real. I'm just stressing over things. It is just normal, for me. And calm down. Tell your mind to calm down. Tell your body to calm down, and it will be set. So you have got the gist of the book, and it's up to you that whether to purchase the book or not to purchase. But this is the whole summary of the book, right? So if you like the summary, subscribe, like, and comment down below that which summary should I make next. Thank you.